I'm doing too. So basically, like actually, before I get on the phone with you guys, a good trick to do, a easy way to do it to make it non-negotiable is just to you want to pre-plug your daily activity. So basically, let's say we're just gonna talk about the listing, right? Just gonna focus on the listing. So pretty much for you to hit the listing target, then pretty much the two things that's gonna help you to hit the listing target is pretty much two things, right? One thing is generate the leads. Book the appointment. Another thing is to go to the appointment, right? So if you're doing that every single day, most likely you're gonna reach the target. You're gonna hit the target because what you're doing on a daily basis is aligned to the goal. So, but the key is because right now you're a two-person team. You're a two-person. So the key is you gotta, like for me. Okay, let me give you my example. Because me, I don't have a partner. I'm just by myself. So that's why I had to, because I'm doing the same thing. So I say, okay, I gotta have this many listings. So for me, that means I gotta focus on number one, book the appointment. Number two, go to the appointment. So in the beginning, for going to the appointment, I was the only person that's going. So there's nobody else that's helping me. I was the only person that's going. And for booking the appointment, is more of a team effort for me. So I do it myself too. So let's say because you have this goal, so you cannot just say, oh, I'm gonna have the virtual salesperson to book it for me. That's not enough. If you're talking about 10 listing appointment a month, you know what I mean? So basically, that that would be just one. That would be one of the avenue that's gonna get you the appointment. But on top of that, you need to also utilize other means. So for example, so my source of a listing appointment, they come from everywhere. So I have so one source obviously is the cold call, the expired listing, and then I have people that I know, and also for the people that that just means that you gotta post something every day. So I can send you the template of what you post. So basically, the seller, they're looking for, what does the seller want? So basically, you gotta do the marketing too. So for the marketing, it's kind of like a team effort too. So for me, like I have one person that does all my marketing, so she's posting every day, but I'm posting every day myself too, because it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It only takes maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, but it makes a huge difference because because there's two type of business, right? There is the new business, and then there's the business with a client that you already have. So like for the expire, it's definitely new business. For the business that you already, a relationship that you already know, you still need to post because otherwise how they gonna see you, right? Either you can call them or you can just post, and then when they see you, they're gonna because you always post every day, then they see you. So it's very easy. So if you want to make the marketing very simple, it's basically just posting whatever they want. So for example, if you're posting for seller leads, then it's pretty much, what does the seller want? Seller want buyers. Seller want offers. Seller want more money for their home. So that would be what you're gonna be posting about. For example, I just sold a home yesterday. So we put it on the market for $490 and we sold it for $550. So my post would be we just, congratulations to our homeowner. We just sold their home for $50,000. So we're asking, and also I also attach it's very important for you to get the reviews. You wanna try to get a review with every business you get, and the way to look at it is I'm focusing on the topic, but when I think of something that I think is good for you, I just say it. You okay with that, right? It's not 100% related to this topic, but it's gonna help you. So you wanna if you working with the client, if you don't look at the commission as the ultimate goal, then you'll do much better. What I mean by that is you got to look for the 3 R's: the reviews, the repeat business, and the referral. So, for example, you don't look at the commission as the currency that you're trying to go in after. Look at the 3 R's as the currency. You know what I mean, right? Hello? You guys there? Hello?
Yeah, no, sorry. David fell off for a second.
Okay, yeah.
I lost connection, yeah.
Okay, so...
Sorry, Ray, continue.
That's okay, yeah. So you got to look at the... When did you disconnect? At which point did you disconnect?
I disconnected when you were saying you were about to explain how to...
oh, that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so basically, instead of going for the commission, you should go for the 3 R's: the review, the repeat business, and the referral business. The reason you do that is when you go after 3 R's, the benefit you get is gonna be much better than commission. So let me explain. So if you go after 3 R's, obviously you're gonna have to do a good job for you to get the 3 R's: the review, the repeat, and the referral. Because the only way they're gonna give you a good review is that when your service exceed their expectation. But in order for your service to exceed their expectation, you have to first hit their target. For example, let's say if they tell you, okay, what's important for me in selling this home is this outcome, the outcome A. This is what I'm looking for. Then in order for you to exceed the expectation, you gotta know what's the outcome, right? So what's the problem that a lot of salesperson make, the mistake they make is that they from the beginning to end, they don't know what's the outcome the client is looking for. They just assume. They think it's B, they think it's C. That's what you do not want to do. Because if you do not know what the outcome they want, and you just guess it, and even if you did an extra service for 1,000 miles after the service, they still will not be happy because you did not even exceed. You did not meet their expectation. You don't know what their expectation is. So the reason I talk about this whole thing is because if you do this correctly, then you'll have more business, because each business will get you more business. So it's gonna make your sales. It's gonna make it much easier for you to hit the sales target, because they're gonna refer people to you, and also the review is very important, because so from now on, what you want to do, one of the goal you have is to collect as many reviews as possible, because the review is pretty much sells you automatically. So let me give you an example. So remember I was in Orlando when you guys called me, and I had an appointment. I set an appointment before I go to Orlando. So this homeowner, they live in Beverly Hills, so they saw my post out of nowhere. So because I post every single day, so in my post, so basically I think what I did is, because every listing I post on WeChat. That's something similar to Facebook, but that's for most Asian community. So I post every listing I sign. I post a post about that listing. On top would be the description about the listing, but on the bottom of the listing, I post one little picture. It shows the 4 reasons why you should sell home with the Ray Chen home selling team, and below that it's all the screenshot of all the reviews I collected from past homeowners. Basically, they would say, we just sold the Ray Chen team just helped us sell the home, and we got $50,000 more than what we asked for, and the home was sold in like 5 days, which was a cash offer. So similar review like that. So because I have all those reviews in my post, for every post I post, so that homeowner, they don't know me, so they just, because I just post it everywhere, on a moment on Facebook, similar to that. So they didn't know me. It's out of nowhere. So they saw that post, and then they contacted me. Then I booked an appointment. And so remember, I was at my flight delay for coming back from Orlando to Los Angeles. So I was supposed to go back, the day before, but it's delayed. So I didn't get back until the next morning. So I just drove directly from the airport to the home. So that home is in Beverly Hills. So I just went there and then I just signed the listing. It's a $3.6 million home. I signed because sometimes it depends on the situation. Sometimes I try to sign 6%, but this one I just signed 4.5%. That's still pretty good. That's at least, so depending on if I double in or not. If I double in, then that's that's like what, $150,000 or something. So I'm just telling you the importance of the 3R. So that appointment, that listing signed, it's because of a couple of things. Number one, I post consistently. Number one reason. Number two, in my post, it has many past client reviews. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I got that on Zillow. On Zillow, I'm late, but I've been getting my reviews.
Yeah, you have to get the reviews, because when you have the reviews, you don't have to sell yourself so hard anymore. You do, but if you have the reviews, it's like the review is very powerful. It's like when you go buy stuff on Amazon, what do you look at? What's your basis for picking the product? Reviews, right? You pick the most reviews with the most stars, like for example 5-star, whatever, So that's what you base on. So it's the same thing. Like yesterday, I was calling because I was doing the homework for the Michael Blank program. So I was calling the property managers in Orlando. So what do I go by? I go by review. So if the company has no review, I'm not gonna call them. So that's why the review is very important. So everything's connected. So right now the topic we're talking about how to get that 10 listing, right? So number one, you gotta post every day. So if you pretty much, like we just did the number, right? If you want to get 10 listings, that means you have to post. That means you have to market for the listing, and you have to go to the listing, and you have to book the listing, and you have to go to the listing appointment every single day. We just did the numbers, right? So because you want 10 listings, let's say if you sign, half of let's say if your success rate is 50%. Then that means you gotta go. Let's say, assuming you're working 20 days a month, then that means you gotta go to a listing appointment every single day, and that means you gotta at least sign half of the appointment that you go to. Let me see. Do you guys have any questions so far?
So I got a question about the strategy for doing appointments every day. So I'm assuming you're meaning average of every day. So for instance, do you have success booking multiple appointments in a day? For instance, because go ahead.
So that's what I was saying. If your goal is to go to a listing appointment every single day, just relying 100% on the expired call is not realistic. You know what I mean, right? So that's why that's why I say you gotta post as well. So my source, I'll share with you my source of appointment, like listing appointment, where they come from. Okay, so some of them come from expired call, some of them come from just because I post on the social media. Some of them come from the buyer call. The buyer, they see my listing, and they have a home to sell. You know what I mean? And some of them coming from people maybe that I already know, or some of them coming from referral. So that's why it's very important that you gotta post every day. So let's say if it's Facebook, but actually we supposed to post everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, whatever. So you gotta post every single day. So that's very important, because for you post every day, you're gonna not only attract the people you don't know, you also gonna keep yourself fresh in the people's mind that you already know, because people have a short-term memory. So basically, what you want to do is because normally most people, they only remember about 2 or 3 brands for each business. So for example, let's say if I ask you, hey, what's the what's the top 3 brand of Coke you remember? Most people only remember 2 or 3, right? It's Coke, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and then most people don't even remember the third one, or maybe Mountain Dew, whatever. So why? Because if you look at it, if you see the brand, the Coke brand, who's advertising the most? Coca-Cola, right? They're like a freaking like $1 billion business. They still advertise every single day. So that's what you need to do too. If you wanna, even your friend to remember that, hey, so my friend Ian or Damon they're doing real estate. If you want them to remember, you gotta post every day. So
Ray, Steve.
Yeah,
sorry, Ray. Sorry to cut you off. Where do you get your content from to post every day?
It's very simple. It just I can send you those contents. It's pretty much you just cycling the content. Let's say if you have 10 content, you just cycling them through. So like I said earlier, right? So you have different ads for seller and you have different ads for buyers, right? But sometimes it's the same, because let's say if the buyer have a home to sell. So basically, when you post, you're just gonna post what they're looking for, right? So for the seller, what they want. Seller want buyers. Seller want high prices. Seller want multiple offers. Seller want and the seller, so when you post, you can post like, just sold this home. We sold it for $50,000 more than what the buyers, more than what the seller expected. So when they see that, and also they see the review, then they believe it, right? Then this guy can sell the home for $50,000 more. Then something like that. Or 27.
Okay, so you're just recycling. Sorry. Oh, you're just recycling posts, pretty much like.
You don't have to have.
I got you. Because what happens is I get caught up in. It takes so much time for me to create the content to post. That I end up spending time trying to create the damn content.
No, you don't need 100 contents. You just need probably 10 contents. That's it. I mean, you can even use one of those like Hootsuite or something. Those are like a social media management platform. So you can all you gotta do is, I can send you this content. So all you gotta do is have 10 contents, then just cycle them. And you can even pre-plug into the so another thing I do is very simple. Let's say I have if you go to my Facebook, you'll see it. So another thing what I do is I just save those pictures in my iPhone's photo album. I just pick one and just post it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. To answer your question, so this is important. If you wanna to make sure that you can do it consistently, there's a couple of things you have to do to make sure that you are willing to do it consistently. Okay. Number one, you have to make it easy. Just like you said, if it takes a lot of time, how am I gonna be able to post every day? That's impossible, right? So you gotta make it like 1, 2, 3. I pick the picture, I upload, I click send. It only takes me less than 5 seconds. If it only takes you less than 5 seconds, you will do it. Let's say if it takes more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you will not do it, right? So you want to make it simple. So I mean, at this point, because right now, you guys didn't hire anybody yet, right? So because you didn't hire anybody yet, so right now you're doing it on your own. So even me, I'm also posting every day because it doesn't take too much of my time. It only takes me like 5 seconds. So you wanna so to make sure you do it every day. So it's kind of related to what I'm gonna talk about today. The focus. If you want to make sure you do something every day, first you have to realize, if you want the outcome, you have to adapt the mentality of persistency. I mean, some people think, I can be successful, I can do this, do that, I can make a lot of money without being consistent. It's impossible. You just have to accept the fact that if you want to make a lot of money, if you want to be successful, you have to be consistent. There's just no way around it. You know what I mean? So you have to work out in your mind what's your motivation for doing this. I can tell you my motivation, okay, because I'm 45 years old already. So for me, because when I calculate it, I have a little countdown clock on my phone. Because for me, I'm 45. When I count down to 70 plus years old, I only have 10,000 days. So I don't have that many days left. So that's why I'm very motivated, because I don't have a lot of days left. So I'm okay with So I have a series of routine I can share with you for myself. I have accepted the fact that I will do it every day for the rest of my life, like a permanent consistency. For you, I mean, in order to accept the fact, to accept the willingness to be permanently consistent, is a big burden. If it's too long for you, you can start with a short one. For example, I'm gonna commit to it for half a year or 3 months. Or you can gradually. It's like running, right? So if you're not used to commitment, you can start small. So for example, I'm gonna commit myself on doing this for example, next 1 month. After you finish 1 month, because essentially you're building up a habit. The more you're used to it, the longer you can commit. So you can start with maybe 1 month. So once you reach the 1 month, then you can start with 2 months. Once you're okay with that, maybe you can start with a year. So, but just the fact of just accept the fact that no matter what you do, no matter what business you do, no matter what endeavor you have, no matter what you're trying to do, or lose weight, become a good golfer, or become somebody that's really good at macking on chick, whatever. No matter what it is, the single most important factor is consistency. Basically meaning you got to do it every single day. So let me give you my routine. So for me, my motivation is big enough. That's why, for me, I already accepted the fact that I'm committed for the entire rest, of my life. But it's a big burden. If you don't have a big enough why, you will not be able to accept that. So for you just gotta say something that works for you. Like for my commitment, so I already plot. Let me show you. Let me share with you how does it work. Okay. So for my commitment, so when I mean I'm committed to doing it. What I mean by that is that I'll share with you how I carry it out on a daily basis. Okay. So basically, every morning, I don't know if you guys read the book, The Miracle Morning. Have you heard about it? The Miracle Morning.
Oh yeah, I've read that one. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like a combination of Miracle Morning and commitment. So basically, okay, commitment, it basically just means that you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, right? And I'm gonna share with you some tips on how to make it easy, how to make it easier to carry that out. I already said one of them, which is make it easy for you to commit it, to actually do it. Meaning that, like I just gave you an example, I have 10 pictures or whatever I saved in my phone because my commitment is to. So I'll share with you my calendar. So on my calendar, I have a portion that's related to the Miracle Morning. The key is you gotta make it so that you do not need to decide what to do. It needs to be in your calendar in the same sequence, the same time, every single day. That way you remove the decision-making process. Because let's say if you had to decide, should I run first or should I meditate first? If you're going to have to decide that every single morning, you will not do it. You will not be able to do it consistently. You will quit. You know what I mean, right? You want to make the sequence set in stone. For example, every day morning I get up, first I meditate, second I affirm, third I envision, fourth I practice. So I practice Wing Chun too. The Yin Man movie. I don't know if you know so it's similar to the Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. So I practice that for half an hour. Then I go walk. So it's in the exact sequence. It doesn't require me to decide which one to do first every single morning. If you had to decide every single morning which one to do first, you will not do it. You will not last. Because if you need to decide which one to do first, then you will quit. Once you wake up, you're like, oh, should I do run first or should I do meditation first? You're gonna quit. Or also, if you're gonna decide you will do it or not, you will quit. You need to make it non-negotiable. That's the key, non-negotiable. So, for example, I've been pretty busy. You guys been, we've been in communication this past couple of weeks. So sometimes you call me. I was in Orlando. Let me tell you the commitment, okay? Even when I was traveling all this time, all these items that's on my non-negotiable list, they are done. Let me give an example. Okay, one of my goals is every day I need to walk for 10,000 steps. Okay, so but when I was traveling, this one night I was in nearby Port Richey, nearby Tampa. I was in a hotel room. I was walking all the way till like 3 or 4 a.m. Why? Because I didn't finish my quota for that day. Because my quota was 10,000 steps. I didn't sleep until I finished the 10,000 quota. Let me tell you why. It's actually easier. It's actually easier for me to not sleep until 3 a.m. versus I not finish that. Because if I don't finish that 10,000 quota for the day, then that means I have broke my promise. Once I broke my promise for one day, then it's gonna become a slippery slope. You know what I mean, right? But because I finish that quota every single day, then it gives me no option. Meaning that every single day, I don't have to battle within myself whether I'm gonna do it or not, because it's not negotiable. Because I'm doing it every single day. I'm finishing it every single day. Obviously, I'm not telling you to walk 10,000 steps. I'm just telling you, in order for you to be consistent on this, you need to make it non-negotiable. Okay? So, I mean, although I think initially when I met with Ian, when whatever I said sounded attractive to you is because you kept hearing that I say I'm kind of like hands-free. I am hands-free, but I have a standard for myself. You can set whatever standard you guys want, but I mean my standard is much higher because I have a whole bunch of stuff on my plate. But right now, if your goal is just my goal, my non-negotiable stuff is much more because I included my personal goal as well. I mean, sometimes you sort of need to have some personal goal. The reason I walk 10,000 steps a day is because it's for my health. Because if your business, if you want to be really optimized in your business, your mind, body, and spirit, they need to be optimized too. If they're not optimized, it's gonna be hard for you to do good in business. So, but that's another topic. That's something you have to figure out on your own. If you have a question about that, we can talk about that too. But I'm just gonna just to make it easy. I don't want to put too much burden. Just to make it easy, all you gotta do, if your goal is to get the 10 listings a day, a month, then that's what you need to do. You need to make the daily activity that's aligned with your goal non-negotiable, and you need to make it easy, and you need to make it decisionless. You know what I mean, right? So let's say if you say, okay, my goal is to get 10 listings a month, then you put that into your calendar. You put the correlated task in your calendar. For example, every day in the morning when I wake up, I make one post. I make one call. Just something you need to put in there to make sure that you move toward that goal. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
No,
not really on that. Go ahead, Ian. Go ahead.
I was going to say no. I guess Ray, if you'd be open to it, I'd like to see your daily rituals and your daily schedule. If you'd be open to that, because
yeah, I can send it to you. I can send it right now. It's very easy.
I agree with you 100%, man. Yeah. Actually, I entered a mastermind program, just focusing on the self-development aspect of it. And I agree, man. It's a slippery slope. I had a morning routine and I never,
you cannot,
I'm very
you cannot,
it's tough.
You cannot, once you have the slippery slope, it will be tough. But if you make it non-negotiable, it will be easy because it's non-negotiable. You know what I mean? That's why I walk even in 3 o'clock in the morning, because I know once I slip, then it's going to be hard. But even if I don't sleep, even I only sleep 3 hours for that day, but because I didn't slip, because I committed to it, I didn't go down this slippery slope, then it's easy because that enables me to continue to go down that track of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is very easy. I can just share with you. So I have two. The first one, the reason I didn't, when you guys text me, I didn't go, start right away because I got to do some of this stuff. So the first one, so I make it easy. I don't make it too difficult. It's like dieting, right? So before there was one time, I'm not too fat now, but before there was one time I was like 175 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Then I initially, a long time ago when I tried to lose weight, I was kind of going hard. I was like, every meal I would eat a little bit, and I don't eat a lot of stuff. But that kind of stuff is not sustainable. You know what I mean? So then I figured out, okay, in order for me to lose weight, I need to make it so that it's not too hard on myself. But it's not too hard, but I do it every day. For example, right now I only eat 2 meals a day, and I eat less rice and I eat more vegetable and fruits. So, and whenever I'm hungry or whenever I feel like to eat something, I don't make it hard on myself. I don't just forbid myself to eat, but instead I eat something healthy. For example, maybe a tomato or a peach, whatever. When I feel hungry, I still eat it. So the key is you gotta make it doable. You gotta make it achievable. That's the key for you to be able to be consistent. If you make it so hard, if you make so here's the thing, because there's somebody talked about, I forgot who did it. Somebody talked about the decision muscle or something. If you continue to make decision, there is actually a point you will experience fatigue. So the key for you to be consistent is that you cannot have too much decision process in it. You gotta make it automatic. So for me, in the morning, my ritual is a meditation. I'm not a good person with meditation because I'm like more aggressive. I'm more action oriented. So for my meditation, it's only 1 minute. Like I said, the key is you gotta be able to do it. If I tell myself I gotta meditate 30 minutes and I do it every day, that's not doable for me. It may be doable for somebody else. So the key is whatever you set for yourself, the goal you set for yourself, it needs to be doable for you, right? So for me, I only meditate for 1 minute. And so every day I wake up, I meditate for 1 minute. I just look at my watch, 1 minute, I'm done. So basically just blank out my mind a little bit and then I do the affirmation. I can send you the affirmation too. I actually made an affirmation for you guys. So, and you can make some trick on it. I actually, to make it fun, I actually changed the affirmation on top of the Ranger Creed. I'm not a Ranger, but I was infantry. So I made the affirmation, I just changed it on top of the Ranger Creed. So then I do the affirmation, and then I do the visualization, and then I do the gratitude. So that whole thing takes me maybe less than 5 minutes. And then after that, then I do the Wing Chun. I practice the martial art for half an hour. So basically, it's non-negotiable and there's no decision-making process. Basically, I wake up, I do the meditation, I do the affirmation, I do the visualization, and then I just go outside, and I don't do anything else. Because if you do something else, it's gonna break your pattern. Then you're gonna forget about it, and then That's why I'm making the call with you guys now, because I'm doing all that stuff first, because that's non-negotiable for me. So I then I do the Wing Chun, then I do and the rest of the stuff I just get it done. I do it depending on how I feel, but I just get it done during the day. So I make a YouTube video. I walk 10,000 steps. So for the 10,000 steps, I walk 5,000 in the morning, 5,000 in the afternoon, and then I also write for 1,000 words a day. And also then right now, because I'm in the Michael Blank program, so I have that in there too. So, and I also call one deal a day and analyze a deal a day and talk to one investor a day. That's for the Michael Blank stuff. And also one listing a day. The one listing a day, I don't have to spend too much time because I already have the entire team behind me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, although I still post. So right now, so I still post. So some listing come from the post. And some of the listing come from the cold call, my cold caller for the expired call. So I don't spend a whole lot of time on that because I have I have like literally 5 or 6 people behind me that's doing that. So for that, I just either go to listing appointment or do the listing presentation, or however, I still post to try to market for listing. I still do that. Then another one I have is team. The team is basically meaning that, so I mean, a couple days ago I read a book. It's really good. Who Not How. I don't know if you guys read it.
Yeah, I think I just started that book, Who Not How. Was that you that recommended it to me?
I forgot, yeah. So Who Not How. So that one, so the next one I have on my daily list is team, meaning that I need to do something to build a team. So it could be as simple as also make a post. Hey, hiring team agent. Or it could be as simple as
Hey Ray, you're really cutting out right now. It's getting very choppy.
Oh, I don't know. I'm in home. My everything on my data is full. I don't know where the.
Maybe it's me. Let's see. That's weird, but yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, so to go back to what you're talking about. So that's my routine. So my routine is a little bit different because my routine has a couple different stuff built in. So each of those items is correlated to a goal. So the reason I have this routine is because it's correlated to some goal. So you just gotta make sure whatever you have on your routine. So you heard of the 80-20 rules, right? So the 20% activity, generate the 80% outcome. So for me, that's always has been my go-to philosophy. How can I make it efficient on what I do? So whatever that's on your non-negotiable list, it has to correlate to your higher goal, right? So for example, why do I upload a YouTube? The reason I want to upload a YouTube is because I want to build a brand. Okay, so why do I write a 1,000 word a day? The reason I'm writing 1,000 word a day because I want to make a product, which is a book. So because I was writing 1,000 word a day, I already finished a book for 45,000 words. I already sent to an editor to edit right now. It's very simple. I wrote that book just because I committed to writing 1,000 word a day. Mm-hmm. So you see that everything I have on my plate is correlated to an end goal. The YouTube is the brand building. The writing is the product, which is the book. So basically, you just gotta walk backward. So let's say, because mine is it's got a whole bunch of different stuff. But for yours, we're just gonna focus on the listing. So let's say to go back to the goal of 10 listings a month. Then you just gotta walk back to. So we kind of walk back that number. Is the numbers game. We kind of walk back that number. So basically meaning that you just gotta to make sure that your activity is correlated to your goal. So in order, basically, pretty much. For you guys, it's a little bit easier because you have 2 person. So right now you don't have the employee. So some of the stuff that you're doing for yourself instead of the employee. So but eventually so whether when or how when you will add an employee is depending on you. But if when the time comes ready for you to do you guys have any other job beside the real estate for both of you?
I'm working on some syndication right now, building that up, and doing the commercial investing. That's just me. But I know Damon, you got a couple things.
Yeah, yeah. Like I manage Airbnbs. I got a concierge business for migrators from California to Texas, and I have a Turo business.
What business? What's the last one?
Turo, the car rentals, the cars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so here's the thing. You wanna, okay, you can it's okay to multitask, but so here's the thing, okay. All the tasks, they need to be done. They need to be done no matter what. So it's just a matter of who's gonna do it. That's the key. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I see so you guys kind of each have your something else on the plate as well. So for my business, like for my brokerage business, the reason, I can, spend so little time is because I have a team of 6 people behind me. So for you guys, you need to figure out a way to replicate that. I don't mean by getting 6 people. I mean by, according to your situation, what you need to do to make sure those tasks are done. Because somebody needs to do it. So this is something you guys have to talk amongst yourself. You know what I mean, right? Because if those items are not done, then you're not going to move forward. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, we're selling ourselves short if we don't get it done.
Yeah, so you guys need to be really clear on who is going to do what. Because right now it's you. So you guys need to be really clear on who is going to do what. Because if you're not clear, then nobody's doing it, then you're not going to reach that 10 listing a week. A month. So that's what you go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I have a question, sorry.
Yeah.
So in my other business, I've been able to delegate. So I have assistants, I have employees. It's a little easier to delegate those businesses because, you don't need a license, right? Mm-hmm. Real estate is a little more complicated because a lot of the tasks involved, the person needs a license to open the door, to show homes, negotiations.
No. You got to double check on that. None of my assistants have license. So you got to double check on the Texas rule because, okay, for the California rule, here's the rule, okay? So, for example, I have the TC that's doing all my paperwork. So for the California rule, because somebody in my company actually talked about it. They were like, oh, your TC is not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that. Then I actually went and looked for the rule from the Board of Real Estate from state of California. The rule for the state of California says you can have the non-licensed person to do your paperwork, but you as the agent needs to check the paperwork. Okay? So what you just said, I don't know if it's true or not, but you need to double check your state's rule. So none of my, okay, and also, so for you talking about the showing like open door, in California, for the agent, for the person to show, as long as they don't talk about real estate, they can do it without a license. Yeah, so you just need to do some research on that. So I don't know about Texas, but in California, that's the case. So none of my assistants
need a license to show houses, just also mainly because of the Supra. Unless we can somehow give a David, you and I, we'll need to look into this, but I think you do have to have a license to show houses because of the liability factor.
Well, they can get a Supra access, but they have to do. You have to pay a different fee. They can't get it through HAR. They can't get it through the Houston Association of Realtors. They would have to get it through.
I don't. Party. Yeah, I highly doubt it if you're saying the assistant cannot do it because across the nation, there's most like a big real estate team, they have assistant to run errands, and not every assistant have the license. But I don't know. You gotta check your state law. Yeah.
Okay, that's one of our biggest. So to be honest, Ray, that's one of our biggest barriers. It's really because our other businesses we can handle, and like I said, I have people in place for that. It's just Texas is very strict.
Okay.
So if you we'll start researching that to see if we can hire people, because if we can hire people to help with our other clients, show homes and deal with the few buyers we have in our pipeline, then we can maximize the listing side, because we can just go all in, almost like 90%.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Ray, I have a question as
Go
well.
ahead.
What kind of CRM would you recommend, or would you use to keep everything in one spot? I know that's
Um,
probably a huge.
CRM. They always say CRM is just what the one you use. So the one I have is the one I use is Real Geek. It's Real Geek webs because my website is built with Real Geek. So they have a back
It's breaking
end.
up really bad, Ray. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if I can remove my. Is it better now?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Is it better now? Hello.
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. So the CRM I have is Real Geek. Real Geek, they have a backend. What is it? The backend CRM. It's pretty much just what you use. It's just what you're gonna use it on a regular basis. Yeah. There's a couple good ones. I think the Lion Desk. The Lion Desk is pretty cheap. There's a couple other ones. There's a Commission Inc. Commission Inc. is very expensive. Yeah. So here's the thing. So
Okay, I'm losing you.
Yeah, I lost you again. Yeah.
that's weird. My bar is full.
It's like anytime you start saying something important, you cut out, and then you're like, "All right, I'm back now." Like, what the heck?
That's weird. Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the leverage thing. So you wanna, so especially you two are a team. So you want to be really clear on that, because if you're not really clear on that, then there's gonna be some issues, because who's supposed to do that? Are you supposed to do that? Who's gonna do this? So you gotta either somebody do it, or you gotta hire somebody to do it. Yeah, so that's the key. You gotta. I would say, if you want to reach the 10 listing a month goal, very simple. Just go with the 80-20 rule. Just focus on the listing. But if you have other things on your plate, then you need to figure out how you're going to be able to do that. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Okay. So when people say they can multitask, in reality, they really cannot. When people talk about multitask, it's usually, like for me, right? When I'm talking about multitask, it doesn't mean I do multiple stuff together. It just means that I have some focus that I personally put more energy in, and I have some other focus I also have energy in, but it's just not, I'm not the person doing it. Somebody else is doing it for me, but I still oversee it. That's the only way you can multitask. You cannot really do different things at the same time, because that's just not possible. So, because for you guys, you're kind of multitasking too. So if that's the case, then you need to figure out who's gonna do it. Because let's say if you have this goal and you're gonna you're still gonna multitask, and you don't figure out who's gonna actually do it. What I mean by that, who's gonna do the marketing every day? Who's gonna go to book the appointment every day? Who's gonna go to listing presentation every day? You still need to have people do it. And for the booking appointment, with our cold callers, it's gonna get you some appointment, but that's not gonna be enough. So you still need to have like at least one person that's committed to marketing every day, to marketing every day. So it's basically what you put in is what you get out, right? So if that's your goal, then you need to figure out who is gonna do it every day, every single day. Because if nobody's doing it, you're not gonna get the outcome. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, that's we were hoping that we have the ability to do it. In the beginning, Ian and I do it for the first 3 to 6 months, and then have a way to have some autonomy to where how you have it, to where you have a main assistant.
Yeah.
You have going, because that that's key. Delegation is going to be key.
Yeah.
To any scalability.
Yeah. So that's a good idea. So that's what I was gonna say. Eventually, so if both of you have a full plate, eventually you're gonna have to hire because that's the first person you need to hire, an admin. That's gonna, the admin that's gonna, take care of all the miscellaneous tasks. So for me, it's my TC and my listing manager. So pretty much, like for example, I'll give you an example. Okay, I don't take any agent call. So for example, every time, so usually on the phone number on my listing, on the agent side, on the MLS, is Wendy's number, my listing manager's number. And I don't take any agent call. I don't arrange any appointment. So even somebody, let's say if a buyer call me directly and they wanna book appointment to see one of my listings, I just forward to Wendy. The reason is, let me show you why. So the reason is, if I do it myself, it's gonna take probably, if I do it fast, maybe 5 minutes. But then that's not the problem. The problem is sometimes maybe I don't reach the seller, and sometimes maybe the time doesn't work out, and I gotta go back and forth to make sure the time that everybody agrees. This takes a lot of mental energy. You know what I mean? Because this kind of task, it's so another thing you need to do is you need to assign a hourly dollar value for your time. So the reason I don't do it is because for me, I forgot how much I assigned for myself. I think I assigned $10,000 for me, my hourly rate. So anything below that, I cannot do it. So for example, arrange the showing or put up a lockbox. I do not do it because, that's like a waste of my time because my hourly rate is much higher than that. So that's why I do not do that. So let's say if there's 1 hour, right? 1 hour I could do a listing presentation. Another hour I could do arrange the showing. Of course, I'm not gonna do the arrange the showing because arrange the showing is the dollar output is like, I don't know, maybe $5 or $500 or $5,000, whatever. If they buy the home. But the dollar output for me to do a listing presentation is like anywhere from 20 to maybe 200,000. Just like the Beverly Hills listing I just signed, that's like the 4.5%. If I double in, that's like 160,000. So that's the reason I don't do it. So it hasn't always been like this because before I was still the guy that's putting up the sign myself. But then. Then once I hired Wendy, then I don't do any of those. Putting up a sign, putting up the lockbox or whatever. So, but, there is a cost. So I pay her, I think I shared with you guys last time. So I pay her, depending on how many deals I do a month. So anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Because it's a base plus, bonus. I'm okay to pay that. Because it's like that book, Who Not How. Who Not How. I'm paying, let's say $5,000, but so I'm paying $5,000, but I get the time to write the book, which will eventually turn into a product. I get the time to make a YouTube, eventually will build my brand. So all this stuff like writing book and doing a YouTube. So I don't know if you guys heard about the 4 quadrant. The number 1 quadrant is urgent and important. Number 2, the top left quadrant, urgent and important. Top right quadrant, important, not urgent. Lower left quadrant, urgent, not important. Lower right quadrant, not important, not urgent. Have you heard about this before?
Oh yeah, to teach you how to use your employees and stuff. That's where I've seen it.
Well, this is not for the employee. It's kind of for the employee, but it's you're right. Yeah, it's for you to decide what you should do. What you should focus on doing. Like for example, the arranging for appointment showing, that's sort of urgent, not important. Or you could say, let me see. Yeah, it's something like that. So a lot of time. Because in the meantime, because this brokerage business we're talking about, this kind of business, we're still exchanging time for money. That's why we're talking, taking some time to talk about how to make sure our time is efficient, the efficiency of our time. So a lot of people, they don't have the outcome, they don't generate the outcome, is because most of their day is occupied by urgent, not important things. If all you're doing every day is urgent and not important things, you will end up with nothing, right? Or very low productivity, right? So let me an example of important, not urgent things is listing appointment, right? The listing appointment is important. It might be urgent, but it's kind of sort of not urgent. But you got to do it. That should be the priority. So most people, they decide the priority on whether it's urgent or not. That's just wrong, right? Because if what you're deciding, the base for your deciding whether it's important or not is the urgency, then you're not gonna make a lot of money. Then you just be like running every day, with a stupid errands, and you're not gonna make money. The way you're gonna make money is you gotta focus on the important things. So that's why for you to, it's a little bit tricky because you're a partnership. And if you don't handle the who's gonna do what segment correctly, eventually there's gonna be some imbalance and some even resentment because you know what I mean. So you gotta figure that out clearly, and eventually, the easiest way to do it is there's a couple solutions. One is compartmentalize, whatever. So basically, who is gonna do what? Just be really clear on that. Another way to do it is just like you're saying earlier, get an assistant, full-time assistant, and have her do all the urgent, non-important stuff. That way, you don't have to you two don't have to argue on who should do this, who should do that. I think for you guys, it's especially important. You gotta be clear on that because if you don't, that's gonna be, as time goes by, there's gonna be some argument on that, disagreement on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll need to figure out who's doing what. I agree. And would you recommend, you say for us to make a post each day, should we make like a joint Instagram or a joint Facebook profile and start start posting on that?
Yeah, of course. It's gonna be hard for you because you're like a team. So even if you hire somebody, they're not gonna do post on 2 accounts every day. That's just kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta.
So Damon, let's look at making a joint Facebook and Instagram account.
Yeah, you can think about like how you want to call it, whether like all the Damon and Ian team, whatever. You all the whatever. You just figure out. You gotta. Okay, here's the thing. So basically, you gotta let the customer know who you are. So basically, we talk about the brand, right? You gotta know I'll share you with my brand progression. So before everywhere I put online, it's your home so guaranteed. So the reason I had that before because that's the only business I have, which is a brokerage business. But now because I'm also doing the syndication business, that's why I changed my brand to Real Estate Fast Lane.
Real Estate Fast Lane?
Yeah. Real Estate Fast Lane, like a high speed, fast lane, fast track, whatever.
Yeah. So wait. So that's what you're calling your syndication business?
No, it's not. It's not the name of a syndication business. It's just a online brand I put on social media, because that way I can include the brokerage business and also the syndication business. Because if I just put your home so guaranteed, then it has nothing to do with syndication. You know what I mean? Right now, go ahead.
Would it be good to separate them? Have 2 different brands? How should we do that?
So that's the thing. Okay, that's depending on what's your priority. Right now, I'm kind of like in the testing too. I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but it's the better way to do it is to be more clear. So if your focus is like for example that brokerage business, then you want it to be as clear as possible. So if your focus is a syndication business, then you want to be leaning more toward that. So that's just something you gotta Who is doing syndication? You alone, or you and Damon?
It's
just Ian for now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's just in that case, that just sounds something totally different then. So that's another thing you guys got to think about. You guys got to think about what business you're doing together, what business you're doing on your own. So you cannot commingle that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, pretty much right now at this point, the syndication is pretty much just you doing on your own. So you cannot really commingle that with the brokerage business. So that means if you're gonna market, then you just market the syndication business. Then you just have to do it on your own, because that's not the business partnership you guys are doing. The partnership you guys are doing is the brokerage business. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, what this has been a really, really good and long call. I guess what should our next step of action be, Ray?
Your next step action would be so since you said so we haven't discussed about the why yet, but so you might need to, maybe we need to do another call about the why, because you need to really clear on your why. Because if you're just going after the money, it's not gonna last for a long time. It's because the money is never a good enough motivator. So you got to be really clear on that, like what each one of your why is. So maybe we can talk about that next time. So basically, okay. So the reason is kind of harder I'm gonna take some time to talk about the idea of a reality transfer. So the reason it's kind of harder for anyone to get started in anything new is because it's not a reality to them yet, right? At least at this point. For example, for you, let's say if your goal is to get 10 listings a month, that's not a reality for you at this point yet, right? Until that become a reality to you, there is still a gap, right? And it is a pretty big gap. So what you need to do, obviously, we talk about the practical part of it, which is just plug in the calendar, whatever you need to do to get to that. So let me get into the more detail on the psychology side of it. So I call it the MLA reality transfer. So basically, it's like a be do have. So first you say, I'm gonna be the one of the top listing agent team in you guys in Houston?
Yes, sir.
So
yes.
I'm gonna be one of the top listing team in Houston. So that's the B, right? So first you have to be able to see that. You have to first be able to envision that. Because if you cannot envision it, you're not gonna be it. So for example,
you have to see it before you can be it.
Yeah. So for example, like before I went to the army, I went to the infantry. Before I in the beginning, it's hard for me to see it because the infantry requires a lot of running, and for most ordinary people, if they're not used to running is hard. Like before I went to boot camp, I tried to kind of increase my running ability. But I kept wanting to draw up. It feels very hard. So in the beginning, it's hard for me to envision myself as an infantry soldier. But gradually, I started, running a little bit, kind of increase the distance and increase the speed a little bit on my own before I joined boot camp. And after that, when in boot camp, it's hard too. But once after I got out of boot camp, then I can see myself as a full-fledged soldier. Because I already been through that, I already done that. I already been through boot camp. Now I can run like a fucking machine, That now I can see myself as a soldier. But until you go through that whole process, in the beginning, it's gonna be harder for you to envision. Even it's hard, but you still need to envision. So basically, it's backwards. So you gotta envision yourself as the top listing agent in Houston, and then you take the step to close that gap, right? So basically, I call it be do have. You gotta envision yourself as that top listing team in Houston. Then you gotta do it, and then once you do it, then you're gonna have it. For example, like my soldier experience, like I just fucking started like a running, like a growing up puking, and then gradually I finished a boot camp. Then then once I get there, then hey, I'm a fucking soldier, right? So then in between, that's what you need to do. So obviously, the first thing you gotta do is have the new association, which is good. Like for me, during the boot camp, that's the new association. For you, like we getting together, this is a new association. The reason the new association is very important is because you want to be associated with people that's already doing it. Just like when he went to the Michael Blank, that's the new association too, right? It's very important because if you don't get into that environment, if you're just gonna do the syndication on your own, there's no way you're gonna do it because you're just like you don't know what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? But because you're there, you're talking to other people, then suddenly it's become much more realistic, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you gotta get a new coach, just like we're talking right now. So the coach, like a lot of times, people, new agent, they go to a company and then they're signed with a manager. You cannot, you cannot talk with the manager, man, because most manager they don't make money, so you cannot learn from that. So you gotta make sure that you gotta, you're learning from someone that's already been there, done that. And another thing is you gotta see it done. Like when I talk about my daily routine, then you ask me, hey, can you share me your like a calendar? That's what it is. You gotta see it, right? So for example, when I take my agent, so I had a new agent. She already signed a couple of listing appointment. She went to some of my listing appointment with me. So after she saw what I did, then she's able to do it. Because so here's the thing. So just like when I went to boot camp, I see all these people like running like crazy. Then I saw that they're doing it. Then I know it's possible. Then I can do it myself. Then I go practice every day. So I saw it's possible. So for this situation, for this case, the most important thing that you guys need to, the skill you get, the two major skill you need to master is the appointment booking and the listing presentation. The reason I say you still need to master appointment booking is because not all listing appointment will come from the cold call, because that's just not gonna be enough for you to get 10 listings. You still need to post on Facebook. You still need to do marketing. And when you do marketing, when people call you or contact you on Facebook or whatever place, you need to know how to confirm the appointment. So then you also need to know how to do the presentation. So that's what you need to practice on. Just like when I was joining the army, I need to practice on running, right? So starting from puking and running short distance and running slowly, gradually, because I run every day, gradually, to not puking anymore and running faster and running longer distance. So, I mean, eventually, we were running like 6 miles a day, every single day. So it's the same thing. So for you, in the beginning, when it goes to listing appointment, it's my different milestone, right? So when it goes to listing appointment, you're gonna be excited, and you're not gonna be good at it because you're gonna try to memorize stuff. You're gonna have a cheat sheet. That's what I did in the beginning. You gotta have a cheat sheet, like what I should figure out the disc first. Then I should figure out what the reason they want to sell. Then I need to figure out what price they want. Then I need to share with them the benefit of selling home with me. Then I need to guarantee to them that you gotta, in the beginning you don't remember this. Then you gotta write it down, and then you just gonna talk to them according to this outline. And then in the beginning you're gonna be suck at it because you don't know how to read the client. You don't know how to talk to them according to their personality. You don't know how to get the price out of them. A lot of times they don't want to say the price. You don't know when is the time to close. You don't know how to read them. In the beginning, you're not going to be very good at all this. But as you practice, like what I was doing, the more you practice, then you can become a natural at it. It's gonna take time, but that's the thing. But in all this time while you're practicing, you need to have the faith. You need to be focused. You need to be persistent. You cannot give up. You need to, just like running. Like in the beginning, when I was running, I always want to give up because it's just very hard. It's like you always want to puke. It's the same thing for the listing presentation. In the beginning, you want to feel like give up because you're like, oh, I don't remember this. I don't know how to say this. Every time I go, they refuse. They don't sign a contract with me, and sometimes you're gonna want to give up. But don't worry, just keep going. So the key is you want to go to as many listing presentations as possible. That way you can increase your skill. You can increase your closing skill. The closing skill is everything I just talked about. How to read the client, how to decide their personality, knowing when to close, knowing if they don't want to close, knowing how to close them, different way to close, and if they have a whole bunch of objections, you gotta be able to answer all those objections. If they have objection about the commission, you need to know how to answer the pricing or the commission objection. So you need to improve on all that department before you gradually can master the listing presentation skill. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a skill. It's like a stroke. It's like a golf stroke. You gotta
exactly.
Practice that stroke before you go out and try to compete in a tournament or compete with anyone.
Exactly. Yeah. So once you do enough of that, and once you start into sign listing agreement just like that, just like me, I fly back to Los Angeles, I go to Beverly Hills, listing appointment, I sign the listings, and I send it over to my team. So that's already a reality for me. But for you guys, it's not a reality yet. So you're trying to work toward that reality. In order to work toward that reality, you need to set it up so that you are doing it every day toward getting closer to your reality, and you're practicing every day. You're having the opportunity to practice every day, so eventually you can get there. And once you get there, then it becomes a reality for you.
Ray, do you have the process written down somewhere? So
Yeah.
You said you want to do this, and then you want to do.
Yeah, I have the whole process. I'll share with you. Yeah, I have the whole thing. Yeah. So here's the thing.
Okay.
I have a simple process and I have the long process, but normally just simple process is enough. So I'll send it to you, and then this is something we're gonna practice a whole lot in the future. So basically we're gonna do mock-up. So that's how I do. That's how I teach my appointment bookers, my virtual appointment bookers. So basically, so I have a list of objections. So they need to memorize all the objections. That's what you need to do too. I did it myself too. Everything I tell you to do, I did it before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a list of objections, like 100 objections. So I memorize every one of them. So here's the thing. So the real estate industry, the sales industry is exactly like the movie star industry. What I mean by that is that you see the people that's making millions of dollars in Hollywood, there's a whole bunch of actors. Why there's millions of actors? Why only like a handful of the actors making the money and the rest are not? What's the difference?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. The difference is two things, and it's exactly the same in the sales industry. It's script and psychology. Okay. The people that the top actors, Tom Hanks, whatever, all those top actors, they're there because they're good with scripts, right? So it's the same thing with real estate. You gotta know the script. You gotta know how to say it. You gotta know all the objections. Whatever objection come your way, you gotta know. You gotta spit out right away the answer. And also the psychology, like I was saying earlier, you gotta watch the client. You gotta know what they're going after. You gotta know what their worry is. You gotta know what their concerns are. You gotta know when they're ready to close. You gotta know when they still have concerns. You gotta watch them. You gotta observe them. You gotta open them. You gotta be able to open them up. It's the same thing. So if you master this skill, the book I wrote is actually not about listing. The book I wrote is actually about sales. This whole thing I'm just talking about. If you can master this, this is the money maker. You can not only for listing presentation. You can use this for any business or any situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys have any other questions?
think we're good. What you got, Ian? I was gonna ask one more thing. Go ahead, Ian. You got something?
No, I don't have anything. Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask as far as the other portion of it for us to get when your cold callers start to work and they're calling leads and things like that. Where are we sourcing these leads from? Is it something Ian and I are going to provide to you?
You just
working on that.
You just need to set up the Redex. Does Redex? You gotta check if Redex have a Houston market. If they don't, you can check a Vulcan 7. So all these expired calling platform. So you can call them to ask them how much they charge and if they have service in Houston area. If they do, then I guess you can start with a basic plan. And once you set it up, then we can deploy the caller to call.
Okay.
Yeah. And
because I have Vulcan 7.
That's the only one we're going to use. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So it's just depending on you whether you want to try it yourself too to learn this too. If you want to learn this, I can teach you this too. If you don't want to learn, we can just have the cold caller to start calling. Yeah.
Then what do you think?
Yeah, once we get, I definitely want the cold callers start calling, but I definitely also want to learn.
Okay.
But we'll kind of put it. I would think we put that as not a priority right now, since we have so much to catch up on.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, you guys need to. So I guess the homework for this time is let me write it down. So you gotta allocate, the task between you two. And you gotta decide who's doing what, and you gotta maybe plug your. So do a plan, the goal. The closing plan, like how many deals, how many calls, like break down the goal breakdown, and also you gotta decide what you will do on a daily basis, the daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you just stop right here, and just by plugging that task on your daily routine, for example, one appointment booked a day, one presentation done a day. Even if you just do these two things and you just follow through with it, then you will be successful. Even without knowing how to sell, you will be successful. But obviously, we're gonna go more in details on how to do the other stuff. But that's how important these two things is. So these two things are these two tasks. So basically, it's very simple. What you want to get out of it, you gotta put in it. So you just gotta decide, you really gonna do it. That you gotta just to honor your own word. You guys in business before, so the importance of that. There's something that people can do it for you. For me, although there's a lot of stuff I don't do myself personally, but there's still but I'm still disciplined on doing what I need to do for myself. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think I have any more questions, man. I'm ready to get on the homework and get to the next step.
Same here. So let's see. Yeah, let's get it going.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, Ray. This was great again, man. Got notes and everything. So.
All right. Okay. All right. Good talking to you guys.
Yes, sir. Right. You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
包括前段时间带头大涨的什么芯片的这个北京军政的福满电子国民技术等短期涨幅巨大的品种，全线都崩了，都跌幅超过10%。